Welcome to the It's UATL podcast, your guide to Black culture in Atlanta. I'm Naja Parker.
I'm Nedra Roan.
I'm Deasia Page.
How are we feeling?
Good.
Giving y'all the best that I got. That's
All
the words
right.
for Nita Baker. Because I have like 3 nails currently.
One of them weeks. We gonna get it repaired. I got a chip nail going on here.
All of mine are chipped. Yeah.
Well,
So
I hear a manicure date. Maybe we need to
for sure.
make a trip out of it.
Yes.
Well, ladies, it is Atlanta Jazz Fest week, so we're talking to blues vocalist and guitarist Buddy Red. Plus, we'll tell you why we can't stop thinking about Nature Boy. But first, it's time for the rundown of Black culture news in ATL and beyond making headlines. Deasia, what is up first?
Well, I'm here to report some good news for the Beyhive. The man who allegedly stole some unreleased Beyoncé music along with some other things has pled guilty in that case. He was sentenced to 2 years in prison and 3 on probation. He was initially supposed to go to trial because he originally pled not guilty when, all this happened. But he's, I don't know, had to change the heart. I don't know what happened. But yeah, so he'll be, he's sentenced and yeah. That's what happened. Now, this case happened back in the summer during Beyonce's Cowboy Carter tour. And the man whose name is Kelvin Evans, I think this happened outside of Krog Street Market or nearby, like a few days before her multiple date concerts at Mercedes-Benz Stadium. I think he stole from a choreographer and a dancer of Beyonce's. And allegedly there were like bags, including unreleased music set lists, footage plans, and none of that to this day has been retrieved.
Wow.
Do we know what was he actually charged with? Was it?
That's a great question.
Just theft or...
criminal charges related to theft. I'm not sure of the exact charges, but they're related to stealing these items that have not been returned.
Yeah, I see single counts of criminal trespass and entering a vehicle with the intent to commit theft.
Yeah, because he broke into a car to get these items, and according to this piece that the AJC did about the news, I think has had multiple run-ins with the law about dealing with break-ins.
Oh, Kelvin.
So it seems like he's no stranger to this. I do wonder why the change of the plea, because initially he was pleading not guilty and was supposed to go to trial, and now, he's pleading guilty. And I think requests to his lawyer were not returned. Okay. So,
because they have this on camera, right? So maybe that's part of the reason he had a change of heart. His lawyers were probably like, if we take this to trial, we're probably gonna lose because it's clear as day that this is you in your car on the camera.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And obviously Beyonce has not commented on this case at all, nor do I expect her to.
Which is fine. I mean, what is there to say?
Right.
I wonder, though, if the unrecovered items will show up on the black market somewhere.
So
or if they've already been, if they've already been disseminated.
We would know by now, you think?
I don't know. Would we?
I don't know either.
If you acquired some things that you knew were stolen, would you say anything?
No.
Or would you just hold it for, your own joy and satisfaction or whatever?
But that's a strange thing to hold on to if you can't tell anybody. It's not like you can celebrate having these items.
I don't know. I mean, maybe it's just somebody who wants to feel like they have something that no one else has.
I guess.
I don't know.
I don't quite understand the feeling if that's what it is.
I don't either.
And I was curious too. They haven't recovered the items, but in the article, they said they found him because of one of the laptops was pinging. Do y'all think he knew that he was about to steal from Beyonce? Or was it just one of those things where let me go on a random?
Yeah, I mean, given his previous record, I feel like he just does this maybe. Okay. But I mean, I guess I wouldn't be surprised if he was sort of targeting Beyonce. But I mean, the people, the choreographer and the dancer aren't like, super well known to where you associate them automatically with Beyonce. But maybe he was following them. I really don't know.
I think it's very hard to get into the mind of a criminal.
Yeah. You know what? That's why people like those true crime shows, because we're doing our best to understand them. And sometimes we just don't.
Yeah. We do have some more positive music news, right, Naja?
We do. If you are looking to gain some experience in the entertainment industry, you could intern for Usher. What?
Okay, Usher.
He's looking for folks to join him on his upcoming tour. And this internship opportunity is in partnership with Usher's New Look nonprofit and the Boys and Girls Club of Greater Detroit, which is designed to open doors in live entertainment and concert touring. And we all know that both of those things really work together. So the program will hire 10 interns across Atlanta and Detroit, and they will be helping on the North American leg of the tour he's doing with Chris Brown between June and August. And it's also paid. So you're not going to be working for free. I know a lot of us probably did that when we were interning, but you will receive a check for this. Now, the window to submit your application has closed, but I will still tell you all about the requirements. You got to be 18 or older. And you have to be serious about pursuing a career in live entertainment and concert touring. And your resume and portfolio should reflect that. They said, do not apply if you are an aspiring artist looking to get your demo to one of the artists you may see on tour. So do that somewhere else. And if you're hired, you will have a week-long training session, and you can work across several different teams like the social media team, video and photo, wardrobe, or the production team.
What kind of experience would you have if you were coming in as an
Kinda
intern?
cold. That's a good question. Like, I don't know, maybe like a
Like
theater
promoting
background.
a college promo
Yeah,
stuff.
maybe. That's a good one. Like maybe
Maybe.
homecoming experience, like event planning, maybe something related to that is my guess, or other internships in this field.
Yeah.
Yeah, then you can put on your resume that you worked on the Bumps and Bruises tour.
Or the herps, what is it, the herps and perps?
Herps and perps, or what was it? Something concussions and what was it?
There were too many to
Yeah.
I
name.
can't even remember.
it's a
That
lot.
one was my favorite, and I can't remember it.
I wonder how much they'll be getting paid, because it's interesting because this news was officially announced like on a Tuesday, and the deadline for the application was like that Friday.
Yeah.
Oh,
So I was-
that's a quick turnaround.
Yeah, very quick. So I was and I didn't write this story because I was off the day that the press release was sent, but I was wondering like what I also wonder how many applicants they got because it was so quick.
Yeah.
But it was interesting the
Or
timing
maybe
of
they
it.
knew who they wanted. You know, sometimes you apply for a job and there's no real job. Let me stop throwing shade at Usher. I don't know. I'm just making it up.
Yeah.
Yeah, they also claim that Sean Wilson, who's the co-founder of Usher's New Look and the president and CEO of the Boys and Girls Club of Greater Detroit, got to say the whole thing. She said this might be the first tour of its kind to offer this opportunity.
Okay.
Yeah, something this big.
Yeah,
Awesome.
It's a massive tour, and it
Yeah.
already has its own Instagram page.
Does it?
The R&B tour, yeah.
Would they even? Okay, cool.
Just
cool.
like promotion of Chris Brown's album, whatever Usher is doing
Yeah.
these days, and stuff.
Well, maybe they'll spotlight the interns that they select. That would be cool.
That would be nice.
Yeah. Now, would y'all intern for Usher?
No.
I don't. Yeah, it's a no for me, big dog. I don't know. I'm just playing. I really don't know. I mean, not for this tour. No, no. Maybe something else, but this tour.
Would you?
I would not today. I think that if I was earlier in my career or post college, this is something that I would apply for, because it kind of reminds me of my theater background a little bit because of the production aspect of it. And I have always been interested in entertainment in general, but I became a journalist to do that. So
Right.
not today, decades ago. Well, what else we got going on?
This weekend, the exhibition of Amy Sherald's work is coming to the High Museum. It's called American Sublime. It is the largest presentation of her work, and it is something of a homecoming for this artist who, as you all may know, is a native of Columbus, Georgia. She's also a graduate of Clark Atlanta.
Woo-woo.
And if you do not know who Amy Sherald is, she grew to fame after she painted the portrait of the First Lady, I'm not saying former, First Lady Michelle Obama.
Forever FLOTUS.
Yes, she painted her official portrait. And that was really, I think, when a lot of people in the mainstream got to know who Amy Sherald was. Our own Brooke Howard did a lovely Q&A with her in which she talks about her inspiration with art, how Georgia has impacted her career and some of the art that she does. and a lot of other fun things. So I got my tickets. I'll be there
Ooh.
on Saturday.
Okay.
Are you all planning to go?
I am planning to go. I looked at the dates and I know that I have through September 27th. So I'm kind of moving real slow. I got a couple months to see it, but I will be there.
Yes.
Yeah, I bought my ticket recently for
Why y'all didn't tell me?
next week. Well, it was a part of our. Well, we can go actually.
Okay.
I will. We'll
Everybody got their
we'll
tickets.
talk about
Right,
this.
I
'Cause
actually have an extra one,
it's for like an art group or whatever. They said invite people. So
Oh.
I mean, if you
Okay.
want free, you know,
Yeah.
next weekend.
So these American Sublime is a collection of her iconic paintings. So you will see the Obama portrait there. You'll also see her painting of Breonna Taylor. I don't know if you all saw that. It was on the cover of, I think it was Vanity Fair. It was one of the covers. But those two paintings will be part of this exhibition. And her work is on linen, which I think is very nice. You know, her paintings on linen. And she said that they are often inspired by her family and portraits that are, you know, photos that she's seen of her family, which I love because you can look at some of her work and you can tell it does have kind of, you know, it evokes another time sometimes. You know?
That stood out to me in Brooke's Q&A, her being inspired by photographs, because I take a lot of pictures. They're all in my phone, on Instagram. They're all digitized, but it was a good reminder to start printing pictures out again, because I was recently home and my dad showed me this full photo album of him through the years and all the concerts he had been to. And I'm like, man, I gotta be better. So I love that she was inspired by that.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I liked when she when Brooke asked her about how do you merge the duality of being Black and American into your own work, and she said, taking the American flag and owning it.
Yeah.
Which I struggle with that answer a lot, because whenever I see American flag like imagery, I'm like, I don't really know if this is, fits me at all or anything.
Yeah.
But it's nice to hear her say that there's sort of a sense of empowerment that comes from that, especially given her roots in the South.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, my dad, he don't fool with that American flag. And when we are at sporting events, he doesn't stand for the national anthem. He just sat right on down. So I wonder what he would think about her response and, what she means by owning it.
Yeah. Well, y'all should get y'all tickets if y'all haven't already.
We'll be there. Clearly, y'all got it without me, but I'm not mad or nothing. All right, y'all. Now it's time for our main segment.
So today's guest is Buddy Red, an Atlanta musician who's also the eldest son of rap legend T.I. Buddy's music is a mix of blues and rock and roll, bringing him to stages like South by Southwest and more festivals across the country. He'll kick off this year's Atlanta Jazz Fest, making his debut on May 23rd. Buddy, thank you so much for joining us.
Man, thank y'all for having me.
Yes.
Really.
So to start off, how did you get this name, Buddy Red? Because your real name is Messiah, right? Okay.
Well, I wanted something that paid a little homage to, or homage to the type of music that I listen to, Muddy Waters, Howlin' Wolf, Pink Floyd, Jimi Hendrix, right? It's always a first and a last thing. And so I wanted to take that up, and I was thinking about Pink Floyd and how they came up with their name. They took two different people. I think it was Pink Anderson, a blues player, and something Floyd, another blues player, and took Pink from one guy, Floyd from the other guy, and made Pink Floyd. So I said, okay, let me try to, if I were to do that, who would I use, Then I thought about my grandpa, Buddy, on my father's side. And I remember my aunt, she told me that I was like the first of my father's kids, like that he actually held before he passed. Because he passed like in the early 2000s. And so I said, okay, that made me feel a little special, maybe. And I could see myself being a Buddy. I like how simple that title is. So I said, okay, I like that name. What would be my other counterpart? And so I was thinking about my mother's side of the family, my Uncle Red, and how she would tell me when I walked down the stairs sometimes, like, you look just like my brother used to look. He would roll his pants up and wear Chuck Taylors and stuff too. And he used to listen to Aerosmith and all that kind of stuff. And so I said, okay, my Uncle Red, Buddy Red. Okay, it makes sense. I can't really find a problem with it, and I don't want to think about it too hard. So let me just Yeah.
I have to say, I thought a Buddy Guy.
Me
Yeah.
too.
Like, that was the first
Buddy
thing. I was
Guy.
like, oh, Buddy Guy.
Now, you obviously have a history with music, but how did you find your footing as an artist?
You know, a lot of trial and error. Number one, being inspired by people that you can relate to that are, you know, making music. I know before I started, you know, playing the guitar, I was a producer, and the person that inspired me to be a producer was indirectly Tupac, because I was on YouTube one day. I was 16 and I was going through a whole Tupac binge at the time because I loved 90s hip hop when I was like a teenager. But I was watching this Tupac video, and the intro was an instrumental to his song Scandalous. And the instrumental was like remixed by somebody, and the beat was so groovy and it had live instruments and stuff in it. I said, wait, I really like this. And there's nobody rapping over it. There's nobody singing over it. There's nobody doing anything over it. It's just music. I said, wait, so people can actually, like, I don't know, be in the music business and not rap or sing, because I didn't want to rap or sing at the time. I didn't really have the gall, I would say, to even try.
Well, given who your dad is, yeah.
Yeah, and it seemed like my brothers and sisters, they had it within themselves to make that decision, but I didn't. I didn't have it yet. And so when I heard that instrumental, I said, what is it called when you just make music and you don't rap or sing? And I quick Google search at the time and said producer. So I said, okay, what if I was a music producer? I don't have to be in the limelight. I can just be in the studio and make music that I like. And so I called my pops right after I had that realization. And so I told him that. I don't know what reaction I was looking for, but he said, good. What you need to do. Basically, like, show me, you know. I kind of started that that was my introduction into, you know, taking my ideas and putting them out into speakers.
How did you make the leap from, you know, thinking, okay, I'm ready to be out in front, I'm ready to sing now?
Man, I'll say it hurt a lot when I made that decision. The story behind that is, so I told you I started producing at 16, and I'm giving it my all. You know, I'm watching videos, I'm looking at my favorite albums and seeing who produced what, and I find out more about those producers and their lives and their methodology behind making music. I was really getting into it, you know, and I developed my own method for, in my ears, reliably coming up with something good enough, you know. My father, he calls me one night. He calls me, he said, hey, I got somebody want to talk to you, just as quick as that. And he just handed the phone to somebody. He said, hey, man, it's cold, man. We have a writer session up here at Tree Sound Studios, and it's going to be a lot of producers, a lot of artists. Pull up.
Cole as in J. Cole.
Yeah,
as
J.
in
Cole.
your name, Cole. Just wanted to clarify.
And the reason my pops put me on the phone or had the surprise for me was because he knew that my biggest goal at that time in my life was getting one of my beats to J. Cole or Kendrick Lamar or Jay-Z or Outkast or Andre or Big Boy. My favorite artists, I wanted to work with them. That was my biggest dream at the time. And so he made that connection. I went over there, and as soon as I arrived, I was immediately like intimidated and shot down, because these are guys that have been doing this for more than 2 years. And these are guys that are making beats in the kitchen. They're making beats over in the middle of the hallway, because this writer session, it was literally everybody with a set of speakers, every square inch of the place.
Because who else was there?
I think Rick Ross was there, and my pops was there. T-Minus was there. He's a producer. I was immediately like intimidated. I was like, I thought I was good, but this is my first time being around producers that are obviously better than me. And I wanted to give my music to J. Cole, but when I had brought it up to him, I couldn't even find my words, because I'm gonna be honest, I was a little starstruck. And I was nervous, and he told me, hey man, now's not the time for you to be trying to play me music. Now's the time for you to listen, pay attention, learn, and, you know, meet people, make connections. And then he basically shot me down the most polite way possible. I said, okay, yeah.
He set you on the right path.
Yeah, he did. And I was like, yeah, okay, all right. And after the writer session was over with, I kind of felt dejected, because I knew I wasn't, number one, I wasn't as good a producer as I wanted to be. But in order for me to be as good as those guys, I guess I'm not willing to be as good as those guys. I'm not willing to do what it takes or spend more hours into my room making music to get one of my songs to J. Cole or Kendrick Lamar. That's when I knew 2 or 3 more years of what I've been doing. And keep in mind, I was learning and I was putting my all into it. But when I realized that that wasn't enough right then and there, something just told me I'm not dreaming big enough, like, because I'm not willing to keep going. And so I sat for a few months just not knowing what to do. I felt like a tumbleweed kind of just flowing through life at that point. I was in college too, so I got professors in my ear and I got traffic. I was commuting from Conyers to Georgia State because I was going to school from my mother's house and
What were you studying?
entrepreneurship. And then I didn't even want to be in school for business entrepreneurship, but I only did it because I felt like it was something my pops wanted me to do. It just felt like I was just moving at the world's whim, or everybody else's whim but my own. But I didn't even know how I wanted to move now that I don't really care about getting one of my songs to J. Cole or Kendrick Lamar anymore. Until I happened to go on this date to the movie theaters. And I remember seeing this movie like on TV, the trailers and stuff, about like these rock and roll guys, but I don't know anything about rock and roll and I don't know who these guys are. Their hair looks crazy, the outfits look funny. I don't know what this is. So I just kind of dismissed it until I go to the movies and I don't know, I just picked the movie because it's the first on the screen and go in, I sit down and the music just hits me out of nowhere. What is this? It was Bohemian Rhapsody, the Queen movie, the biopic about Freddie Mercury. And as I'm listening to the music and as I'm watching his story about how he was just a regular luggage carrier, and then he became like this rock and roll guy that just loves music and everybody loves him, all this stuff. I felt the connection. And when I heard the live music, classic rock and roll for the first time, in a music theater, mind you, this isn't me just listening to it in the car. This is like the music is the movie and I'm in a theater listening to it. And so it just hit me. I said, this is what I've been looking for. This is why I felt so confused and so upset when, I don't know, I didn't know what I wanted to do after being a producer. This is it. And I never would have thought of it.
You were trying to fit your square peg into a round hole.
I guess so, man. But before I left that movie theater, I knew that I was going to play an instrument. I just didn't know which one. And I landed on the guitar because I couldn't see myself playing it. And I took that as a sign that, okay, I bought a guitar like the next day before I even knew how to hold it, just so I wouldn't talk myself out of it, you know?
Yeah.
It's been a trip.
Yeah. And how did you, was it the movie that made you land on like blues and rock and roll, or like did that, because it could have been easier if you just landed on maybe rap or R&B like your siblings were. Like what really drew you to those genres? Especially because there aren't, in terms of like rock and roll, there definitely aren't, you know, many black faces in that one.
Yeah, it was, I thought that I had a lot more in common with a rock and roll guy versus a rap guy. I didn't feel tough, or I didn't feel like, not to say all rap is aggressive, but a lot of the rap that I was surrounded by was aggressive and bravado-ish and all of that stuff. And I couldn't really relate to it. And I felt like I would look silly trying to fit it in, you know, but I felt like I understood the people playing guitars, the people, you know, screaming into a microphone. I felt like I understood them more. I was kind of scared that if I invested more of my time and my energy and my faith into rap music, that it would only end up disappointing me again. So I said, you know what, let me just play it safe and do something a little more unconventional, just to see, you know.
It's interesting that you use the word safe, because I don't know if I see it that way at all. You know, a young person doing blues and rock and roll, how much do we really see of that?
I didn't know. I honestly didn't care either. I just felt like I understood it.
Yeah.
So,
Weirdly, as you were telling that story, I was like, I totally get what you're saying. Like everything that you said makes sense to me. I mean, obviously I'm not a man playing, but I know exactly what you mean in terms of feeling like there's a genre that fits you and that spoke to you.
I'm glad you understand, because I be feeling like I'm crazy
sometimes. No, it makes so much sense to me. And, you know, I mean, I'm old school. I'm the oldie in the building. And I think back to Fishbone, and to like all of these legendary Black people who were in space of rock and what they had to do to get there and how, different they were and how the people who followed them were kind of different people, and we were looking for something different. We wanted to hear something different. So I feel like I know exactly what you mean.
Good, man. Good.
Yes. What do you want people to take away from your music?
I would like for them to have more questions than answers. I'd like to encourage them to go down the rabbit hole I've been going down. I want people to kind of follow me in the sense of just doing things that they wouldn't normally do or wouldn't normally think to do. Whether that's listening to a certain album that you've never really thought about listening to, or whether that's watching a movie that you never would watch, or being a friend with a friend you might not have ever been a friend with. I don't know. Just try something.
Try something different. Something new.
Especially when you feel like you don't know, When you feel like you don't know, just try something.
Well, you recently tried the South by Southwest Festival. Tell us about the trip and how it felt to perform at such a festival of that magnitude.
Man, it was so fun. It was so fun, man. I love being busy, especially if it involves a guitar. And I was busy out there. I met a lot of great people, had a lot of great conversations, and played on quite a few good stages out there.
You got a lot of comparisons to Hendrix from that performance. I mean, everything that I read about you after that had Jimi Hendrix mentioned in there. How does that feel to have that be a point of comparison for you?
And is it fair? Because I don't know if that's...
I know. I want to get into that too, actually. But
I think the me that I was when I first started listening to Hendrix and was convincing myself that I understand him. I know what he's saying. I know why he's wearing that. I know why he's trying to do these guitar tricks. I know why he might have felt more comfortable on stage than off stage. I understand. Because a lot of the people that I like to listen to, I listen to them because I feel like I understand them. And I'm looking for understanding about myself, and I find it in others. I want to know more. So I felt like I understand Hendrix. I understood him. So I said, prove it. Prove you understand him. Try to do the most Hendrix things like you can do and really try to sell it and try to show the world that you understand him. Don't try to be him. Just try to show that you understand. And that was my goal in the beginning. But now that I'm finding other things to do, other things to prove, people are looking at the Jimi Hendrix thing. When I'm already past that, it's like, oh, well, okay, well, it's good to know, but I'm trying to touch the ceiling, I'm not trying to.
So like Deasia was about to say, like, I love that for you, but I also feel like it's limiting. But what were you going to say, Deasia, about
No, I was
the
just
comparison?
saying I don't like when people put, those. I don't think I'm not sure if it's a fair, comparison because you're, just starting out. And then like you kind of, maybe there's a pressure to live up to these comparisons all the time.
And I feel like it kind of discounts the history of Black people in rock music. Like, is there only Jimi Hendrix that we can reach to as a comparison? There's so many, there's a lot out there.
It's frustrating, but I don't take it as people are like they're trying to frustrate me with it, or they don't mean any ill will. They just genuinely don't really know. And so they're grabbing their only frames of reference. Mm-hmm. But like, what is it really about me that gives off Jimi Hendrix? Like, is it the fact that we both kind of light skinned? Is it the fact that we wear colorful clothes and scarves? Everybody did that in the 60s. Now, if you said that, I'm just an impersonation of artists back in the 60s, I take that because I am very much influenced by how Pink Floyd dressed back in the late 60s, how Jimi Hendrix dressed, even Led Zeppelin, how they dressed. I really like Jimmy Page, his style, and Robert Plant was a little bit too feminine. He used to take groupies like shirts and like wear them that night to the stage. And I don't know if I'll do that, but I like the thought and creativity behind it. But yeah, I identify more with an era more so than a person.
A person, yeah. That makes sense.
And we'll be right back. Now, you'll be performing at Atlanta Jazz Fest this year. Not only will you be performing, you'll also kick off the festival. Tell me where you were when you got the news and what did that mean to you?
So the opportunity came about when I was at Cascade for an Outkast anniversary party.
Oh, yeah.
For Stankonia. And while I'm moving around there with my pops, a gentleman, he said, "Hey man, we've been looking for you. We're trying to get you at Atlanta Jazz Fest next year," because it was like the end of 2025 when I met him. And I said, "Oh yeah, cool. Well, here, let me put you in contact with somebody." And he was, in my mind, he was talking a good game. I was like, "Okay, let me put you in contact with somebody." And when my team like reached back out with me and said, "Hey, yeah, they want you to do it this summer or this coming summer," I said, "Really? Cool, man. Let's do it." And then when they had me sign something, I said, "Oh, I'm really doing it."
I made it real.
So it was really cool, man. I never would have anticipated it, really, because I'm just trying to make it happen for real, like every other live musician. Because it's hard for live musicians, man, in the world where people don't really prioritize it as much anymore because it's needless, you know. You got AI, you got pianos that can play guitar, but you got all this other stuff that doesn't require live instrumentation. So it's kind of hard, you know. And I know a lot of live musicians. I play at a lot of live jam sessions, and I'm just trying to make it happen. And when they gave me that news, I'm going to be performing at Atlanta Jazz Fest, it was like, "Oh, okay, cool, man. I'm making it happen." You know, I don't know.
Yeah. Now, I hear that you're working on maybe your debut project. Is it an album, EP? Talk to us a bit about that.
Yeah. So my debut EP.
Okay.
That's what I'm thinking. And I'm going to call it Bad News because the song that I have is called Bad News, and working out the business and everything for it right now, but it sounds really good. And I have a surprise feature on it. And he messaged me as well this morning, but I've kind of been a little nervous. When I get a text message, and it's a voice memo too, like I can't even read any words. Like it's a voice memo, I gotta listen to it. I sent him the latest version of the song with him on it. I said, "Hey, what do you think?" He sent me a voice memo. Oh, okay. Let me wait.
Oh,
But
so you haven't listened to it yet?
I haven't listened to what he said about it, but anyways, that's what I'm thinking the project is going to be named, because that song is really, really good. And I'm thinking 4 or 5 other songs, some that I've already released, but 2 or 3 that are brand new.
So we can expect the EP you were just talking about maybe this year, or?
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm shooting for July. I'm shooting for the beginning of July.
Well, we know you've been a fixture in the Atlanta music scene. You've been playing at Northside Tavern and Smith's Old Bar. Why are those places special to you?
Man, these are the first places where I felt like I really had something, you know? Because it's one thing practicing the guitar in your room, but when you actually go out on a stage in front of people that, you know, want to hear music, no matter if they're drunk or not, you really get a feel for how much more you need to practice, and you get a feel for how to work a crowd. You get a feel for what songs go over well with the crowd. Like you do a lot of research there.
Yeah, because I heard that Northside is the place where the young folks go to hear the blues.
The young folks.
That's what
The
somebody
young
told me.
folks.
That's what a
I didn't
fellow
know.
blues musician
Wait,
told
who are the
me.
young folks?
Because you did do a story on blues singers recently. Did you learn that from that reporting?
No,
Okay.
I did another story on a blues singer that I'm Tinsley Ellis. He's white, but he told me that Northside Tavern is where the young people, you know, go to see
We might have
blues.
met, man. It's funny to think that like 20, 30, 40 years, people are going to be talking about Northside Tavern like as it exists today. Oh, yeah, man, we met at Northside 20, 30 years ago, man. Yeah, at the jam session. But, yeah, Northside, I've seen all walks of life, man, from like, you know, you got tricks. You got little girls that's trying to get an old man. You got pool players. You got people you know they own something, but you don't know what.
It's a melting pot.
But they just love the music. And you got students there from Georgia Tech and students there from Georgia State. And it's cool, man. It's cool. My pops, he showed up there at least once before. And nobody really paid him no mind, man. Maybe they might now, but they ain't pay him no mind. Everything was cool. Everything was real cool, man. So I like it. I like that place.
Speaking of your dad, I mean, your family has been in the news, you know, recently because of this beef. And
That's
I think one of the best things that came out of it was showing how talented your family is, like giving your siblings, Damani and King, you know, stepped in to support your dad. And I think people yeah, they did a whole lot more than that. But I think at the time people were like wondering, okay, is Buddy Ray going to drop a blues diss against 50 Cent? But I was wondering, were you ever tempted to step into and do or were you just going to leave that to, you know, your brothers? Or
No, I was not looking forward to doing anything.
What would that even sound like?
Man, it was so silly, man. I remember I was going live soon after all this stuff started happening on TikTok. I was going live, and that's all I see. I'm like, hey, ain't nobody. I didn't have this many people watching me before. Now it's a whole bunch of people. So, okay. And I'm playing my guitar, and I keep saying, blues this, do this, do this. I'm like, oh, that's why. No, I'm not about to make no damn diss song, man. With a guitar? Like, no, that's not what I'm about to do. And it seemed like somebody on that live was watching me, and they said, if he's not going to do it, I'm going to do it myself. And they made an AI version of it, of like a diss song that I did.
God.
And then they kind of thought that was me. A lot of people thought it was me. So I liked the diss song, man. Taking pictures, man. I love that diss, man. God. Like, man, no.
That ain't me. I had nothing to do with that.
That's scary, too, because you got people that can just damn near make anything happen, whether it's a song or a movie or a video. Like, it's AI, and people will really like, oh yeah. It's like, no, it's not. You can't tell it's not me. Like, damn. I kind of have mixed feelings about it because I do want to do my own thing, and sometimes that makes me feel like I should just stay away from the family. Are you guys like siblings, or do you guys have siblings, or?
I'm an only child, but
I have an older sister. Yeah.
Have you ever felt like, you know, once you reach a certain age, you want to kind of just leave home? And
that's exactly what I do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't done that yet, and it's a little bit harder for me to, because it's discouraged, you know.
Yeah.
Especially maybe this early in my life. I don't know.
Don't you feel like you kind of have left home though with choosing the route that you've chosen in music?
It's the reason I wanted to leave home. So I kind of planted my foot firmly outside the house.
Yep.
Speaking of home, how are you so ATL?
How am I so ATL? Mm-hmm. Well, I remember when Krog Street Market wasn't there. I remember when it was like a gravel parking lot that it doesn't exist there anymore. So I think I remember a lot of the history of ATL. You know, I think that's what makes me so ATL. I don't know, somebody else answer the question first, and then maybe I have a better way.
But we can't, because none of us are native.
I can't really.
You are the only Atlanta native at this table.
Got you. Well, I remember when traffic wasn't as extensive
as
it is.
That I don't remember.
Yeah. I remember a lot. I remember old ATL. I think that's what makes me so ATL.
Yeah. Well, buddy, thank you so much for joining us.
Of course.
All right, so before we let you go, it is time for Rent Free, where we talk about a story that is taking up real estate in our minds. And today, that story is Nature Boy. Now, I have to say, this is very disturbing.
Okay.
And I didn't know anything about it until Deasia hipped me to it. And I'm ashamed of that because this happened partially in Atlanta. And I felt like I should have known what was going on. So the story is Legio Bishop was a social media influencer. He called himself Nature Boy, and he led a group. First it was called Melanation, then he changed it to Carbonation, which is kind of weird. But anyway, and so he was on Instagram, YouTube, and he would talk about this Black paradise or utopia that he was creating. And he would invite people to come out. Initially, he was in Costa Rica. And he wanted people to come and be part of this. And he was preaching, this level of spirituality and, wellness and, just living away from the perils that we experience in American culture and life and whatever. It was, again, it was utopia for Black people. Mm-hmm. So people start flocking out because, of course, this starts spreading on social media and people start going. Well, in the documentary, we see people who were former followers reflecting on their experience, and we learned that very quickly things took a darker turn. And what they were promised was not necessarily what they were later experiencing or encountering. The things that happened ranged from, physical abuse to being denied food.
What?
To sexual abuse, all sorts of things, all allegations, I will say, but all kinds of things were happening. And you started to see people waking up to, oh, wait a second, maybe this isn't what I thought it was. Now, there were some very disturbing parts early on where people who were non-Black were going also to be part of the group, and they very quickly vanished. So I'm saying very quickly, but, after a certain period of time, they were no longer part of what is being called a cult. And it was just Black people who were there and following his preachings. He then, descended into what people have called kind of being unhinged. He was calling himself God. He was asking the people who were there to bow down to him. And really, people began to feel, and you could see, in their recounting of this, that they felt like they could not escape. They were under the sway of this person because he had, brainwashed them.
Yeah.
So it's kind of terrifying.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. But so they moved all around to Costa Rica, Mexico, whatever. Eventually, they started being kicked out of other countries. And
other countries?
Yes.
Wow.
And so his ex-followers theorized that he was going to places outside of the U.S. because he wanted to avoid, being found out and someone holding him accountable. At any point, they were on the West Coast at one point. They ended up back in the U.S. and right here in Atlanta, in DeKalb County.
Oh, down the street from me?
That's right. That was the part where I was like, huh? And so once things landed here, there were some internet sleuths who got together and started building a case against him using the videos that he was putting out on social media, reaching out to some of the women to see if they were willing to, talk. Some of the women started to escape from the cult, the family, whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know what to call it. That started the downfall of this individual. So,
well, what has happened to him?
Well, he's in jail, I think.
Okay.
He was convicted
sentenced
in
to life
2024, sentenced to life plus 10, was it plus 10 years? It was life plus 10, I think, for the many abuses that he inflicted on people. And so some people feel vindicated and that they got justice, but there are people who still follow him and are still invested in him having justice outside of jail.
Yeah, because now I told you I was sort of half sleep, sort of watching this. So I am going through a more focused rewatch at the moment. But I remember at the end of it, was he calling from jail or something?
Yes.
Where he said like, I'm gonna do something very big. Watch out for me. I'm like, that's a very bold thing to say while serving a having a life sentence.
Right.
But kind of speaks to who this person is in general.
Yes. Yeah, it was pretty crazy. So have you seen any of it, Naja?
It was playing in the background while I was in the kitchen. So
I'm sensing a theme. It was in the background.
It's in the background. Yeah. And so I got kind of through episode 1 and started, the first episode, they kind of laying the foundation about how it all started. And, this isn't the first cult documentary I've watched. Yeah. There have been quite a few, and it always reminds me to stay humble. People always are like, oh, I would never be a part of a cult. I would never be influenced in that way. But you sometimes got to say,
Mhm.
wait, not so fast, because a lot of people are looking for community
Right.
and maybe not vetting the type of community they are joining. So it was
Right.
just like another reminder
Yeah.
of that.
I mean, I think that's what a lot of the people were talking about is they were looking for a place that, you know, they did feel this tension and they wanted something different for their lives. And so on the one hand, you can't criticize people who are looking for something better for
Yeah.
themselves. But, you know, they were just vulnerable
Right.
to someone like this, you know, who would take advantage of that.
Because I remember when there was a young lady, I don't know which, because maybe I started watching episode 2, but there was one lady who saw one of the videos and she said, I immediately packed
yes.
up and immediately kind of isolated myself from my family.
Right.
So that felt like an example of somebody like desperate for something new.
Right. I mean, and that was, you know, it's interesting because part of, I think, why it worked for a long time is because he did cut people off from their families, or they were cutting themselves off. You know, when you pack everything up that you have and you leave and you don't tell anyone, then there's no one to ask about you. There's no one to ask after you. One of the reasons that early one of the women got out, she was Canadian. Her parents sent the Canadian authorities and they were like, we need to get her back. You know what I'm saying? And so if no one's doing that for you, then how do you, how is that?
Right. Yeah. Especially
balance?
If all of your community is of the same mind. Nobody's thinking to check for you in that way.
Right. Yeah. It was interesting. Although I still have a long way, like 3 episodes to finish or 4 or whatever. But I think it was interesting to see like a Black cult be centered in this way, because usually, at least a lot of the cult narratives that you see in the media are like, very white. And so to see this, this Black cult, be centered in this documentary and like learning the ends of how it operated and like the inspirations behind those following it. It was just, sort of interesting to see and kind of reminded me of like the hope that some forms of organized religion may have on Black folks, because in the beginning of the docuseries, they do talk about how the cult was kind of formed in response to a lot of like racial tension in America, like around 2016, 2017, with the election of Donald Trump as president. You have the rise of like, the Black Lives Matter movement and so many other things. And I think for a lot of people, religion has been, especially Christianity, has always been a source of like escapism from like the real world and the harsh realities that Black people do face in this country. So it was interesting to see sort of those parallels and how it operated in a, cult sort of sense too. Because there was one line someone mentioned from the, the first episode, because that's the only one I really watched, but they were saying that his approach, this guy, Nature Boy, had this approach of like a street gangster / like a social media influencer, and that sort of like rhythm and how he spoke or whatever, his delivery is what helped draw people in.
And now, so initially he owned a barbershop. In Atlanta. So he was a barber. Okay. Sold his business, took the money, and then that's how he was living, until he started getting followers coming in, and then they all had to turn over their money.
I was going to ask about that part. Okay.
Yeah. So one of the victims, I guess, I'm not sure what to call him. One of the ex-followers, he said as soon as he got there, they did a bag check and they went through his stuff, and he had to turn over his passport and his money and his debit card. And he was like, I thought that was strange. Like, is that the right thing to do? Yeah. Should I be giving someone my debit card? But that is how they then were funding a lot of things by using, each other's money. Everybody had to pool their money. And the idea was we're all living together. We're all going to pool together. One of the women said that she came with $3,000 and she had to turn that over. And she said she did it gladly because she was like, okay, yeah, we're all helping each other. But, what was really going on there? I don't know. The thing also, when you talk about Christianity, to me, it's like, and I don't know, the people that were there didn't talk about their religious backgrounds or their beliefs, but at what point does that kick in when someone is standing there telling you, I'm God?
Yeah.
Because to me, when I hear that, I immediately bristle. I'm like, what? So I wonder, if they were people who have roots in Christianity or any religion, really, like, what was the trigger in their minds when he said, "No, I'm your God and you're calling me God"? Like, what? It's fascinating.
That would be tough for me, especially like the bow down part
Oh,
too.
yeah.
And just like, well, we know what happened to old boy, Mr. Nature Boy. How did the, I guess, former participants fare?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think some of them, like I said, they had their moment of epiphany and they are getting on with their lives. So very satisfied with the result. I think the one woman who was his wife and has children with him, or a child, at least one child. I'm not sure if she has multiple. But she said she was very pleased because she knew that she could live the rest of her life in peace, knowing that he was behind bars. And I think other people felt the same sort of sentiment, like this is a chapter that's closed. But then, of course, they're the people who still believe in him as their leader, and who knows what their thoughts and feelings are.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
Interesting.
Sure, those prison calls are quite interesting.
Man, they need to release the calls like the Young Thug calls.
No, seriously.
What's going on?
release the calls.
Well, that's all we have time for today. But until next time, bye.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to It's UATL. UATL is a source for Black culture and community in Atlanta, powered by the Atlanta Journal-Constitution and its supporters. The show is hosted by Nedra Roan, Deasia Page, and me, Naja Parker.
If you liked the episode, be sure to follow us and leave us a rating and review. It really helps. It's UATL wouldn't be possible without our lead producer, Isabel Kirby McGowan, and producer Kara Schillen. Extra support from Ron Williams. Our executive producer is Gavin Godfrey. Megan Nadolski is our senior producer, and Samantha Stamler is the head of audio.
Special thanks to Janelle Davis, the managing editor of UATL for the AJC. Want more UATL? Be sure to join the community at uatl.com. See you next week.